Sigrun and the Mist is the new book by Jack Grayle with collaborations from Shani, Oates, Klara, Wolfe, pictured, and David Koffer. There's also a short article at the end by Nicola Huffstickler about the tintypes and ambrotypes. Tintypes is the technique of photography that was used to create these black and white pictures throughout the book. Fantastic, absolutely wonderful artwork throughout the book. I was going to say this took me by surprise, but it absolutely did not take me by surprise. I knew already how amazing this was going to be because I'm a huge fan of Jack Grayle's. If you watch my channel, you'll know how much I love Jack Grayle's work. His Hekateon is probably the best-selling modern grimoire. Full stop. I mean, it's in its 5th or 6th edition right now. This is my 2nd edition. I've brought it out so that you can see how well these two look together on the shelf. They are of the same height and similar colors, and I just love that buckram. I really, really like it very, very much. And so, when I found out that Jack was writing a stage play, a stage script for a theatre play that featured some main characters from Norse mythology, including Odin, of course, makes an appearance, but Sigrun is the foremost Valkyr who falls from grace, and the Mist is a mysterious character who calls herself the Mist, who is a swashbuckling woman, and you'll find out a little bit more about exactly who she is. I don't want to spoil too much here, but the play reads so well, folks. I'm not used to reading stage scripts. It's not really something that I that I do very much. Of course, I've read some Shakespeare, but I was really very, very entertained. Reading this, it's just so evocative, and with Jack's stage, I'm not sure what you call them, recommendations, directions for what's supposed to happen, who's supposed to enter the stage and what kind of lighting effects are supposed to happen here and there. It felt like being at the theatre. I have to admit, I was deeply entertained, thoroughly entertained. And what's really nice is that it happens over, it's like a collection of small stories, right? So there's one overarching story that culminates at the very end with a terrific battle with this dragon figure. Again, I don't want to reveal too much, but yes, throughout the play there are various flashbacks. And those flashbacks are presented to us, as they're happening. So you get various settings, you get various stories happening, and they all come together in a really nicely cohesive way. Just a lot of fun. It's like having a theatre play playing in your mind's eye, a lot of fun. So all of this is inspired by Egil and Asimund, a medieval Icelandic folktale. You can see that inspired Sigrun and the Mist. And David Koffer here in the second half of the book, more or less, gives us a retelling, a really evocative, really exciting retelling of that original folktale. And again, that's yet another bit of esoteric entertainment. And I do say esoteric entertainment because there's so much on show here that's so much deeper than appearances, and it's a lot of fun working it all out, of course, but then you get to the next part over here. Let me see if I can find the beginning of it, and it's essentially Shani Oates's take on all of this and analysis of all of this based on her deep knowledge of the Norse mythology and mysteries, you could say. Here it is. So yeah, that's the last third, you could say, right? Let's not forget that Shani Oates wrote the entire Norse, or is it Blind God, Hanging God, excuse me, trilogy through Anathema Publishing. And yeah, all of that knowledge comes through over here. By the way, if any of you have seen The Norseman, so much of the understanding of the magic that is in that movie comes from Shani Oates's investigations and studies. And then I'm not going to turn to it because that really is kind of one of the wonderful surprises in this book. But after Shani's description over here, again, I just want to skip to the next bit. She gives us 2 bind runes. She explains how she's created those bind runes, and she just shares them with us for our sparing use. I'm not sure that's exactly the wording she gives, but yeah, she does say use them wisely and sparely. But here are these 2 bind runes that you can actually use, which is really very cool. And then there's Klara Wolfe, as I say, who is pictured throughout the work, and she gives her experience of the photo shoots. And then, as I was saying, Nicola Huffstickler explains what her technique was, describes the technique of tintypes and ambrotypes. And then finally, there is Rowan E. Cassidy's beautiful serpent dragon over here that was commissioned for the book. And that, of course, as I showed you earlier on, is reproduced as a silver stamp on the back of the book. And I think that just works so well, doesn't it? Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely lovely. Yeah, it's a lovely book. In terms of the construction, yes, it's Smith sewn. It's lovely paper. It's got this lovely black ribbon, which is very nice. But I have to say how much I love buckram covered books. It's my favorite format. You know, you can give me leather until you're blue in the face. I will always prefer buckram. It's just my buckram or linen or any kind of thickly woven material like this. It's my favorite. It's what I really like. And then there is this sticker on the front, which is placed within an embossment, so it doesn't stick out. It's not going to peel off or anything. It's that's there for good. And then I just want to give you a little close up over here of the care that's gone into the stamp for the front. There we go. And this is it Grayle Press? I think it's essentially. Let me just check. Yes, Grayle Press. There we are. That's his. That's the logo, which you'll also find on the later editions of the Hekateon. There we go. This is the very, very latest edition of the Hekateon. If you haven't seen my review for that, do go and check it out. It's absolutely wonderful. And of course, Jack Grayle is very well known for all of his courses. You know, I regularly feature his courses on my news videos because they are my favorite courses. Of all the magical courses that I've ever taken, Jack Grayle's courses stand out head and shoulders above the rest. So yeah, I'm a gigantic fan if you didn't already work that out. And this being his second book, if you don't count the various editions and updates of his Hekatean, of course, is an absolute treat. I've really enjoyed this one, and it's available at the moment exclusively through Miskatonic Books, I believe. It's not impossible that you'll start finding this in bookshops around the world, like the usual Watkins. I expect Watkins are going to have some copies of this, Courtyard Books, and those are the ones that I would look to potentially if you're in Europe. But in the US, there's no question Miskatonic Books is definitely the place to pick one of these up. There we are. I hope that review was useful. I really hope some people those of you who know that you enjoy theatre, you're going to lap this up. Those of you who know that you enjoy Norse mythology, you're going to lap this up. And those of you who aren't quite sure, but who enjoy being entertained by a great story, this is classic, folks. This is it absolutely conjured the Shakespearean tragedies, which is saying quite a lot, right? The language in it is it's just. Jack Grayle gets it. He's clearly theatre trained, classically theatre trained. His love for the theatre transpires without a doubt. A couple of little mistakes. I might as well talk about those just before I leave you. There are twice throughout the book I've found a little. So there are no typos. Maybe one space missing between two words or whatever it was, but which is incredible given that this is independently published. But twice I found a little formatting error where one of these directions contained in its middle the first line of what was supposed to be said by the next protagonist, right? It is kind of odd, and I think it was in scene 4. Both of them, I think, were in scene 4, and then there was one little thing, and I can't remember what it was, in like almost the last page. It was like here or here somewhere, as if memory serves. But yes, apart from that, it's impeccable. It's perfect, and yeah, you'll see them, and it certainly doesn't detract from the enjoyment of the read. There we go. That's it. That's everything. Thanks so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Don't forget to leave a like on the like button and to leave a comment if this is of interest to you, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. See you soon with another video. Bye.